Hey guys, just wanted to hop in here really quick before you get ready for your next lesson. If you landed on this video for the first time, I just want you to know that Milestone Monday is an actual series, and I will have that link below in the description. It's tidbits of information from myself, a pediatric developmental therapist who's done this for over 10 years, focusing on little ones ages birth to 36 months. Think of it as having a real-life pediatric developmental therapist in your home. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and keep going. Okay, in today's lesson, we are talking about baby reflexes, rooting, Moro, the Palmar grasp, which are the three big ones. But then towards the end of this video, I will go ahead and give you a few more, actually 4 more. I'll give you the name of them and then also the examples. Okay, so first I'm going to talk to you about why reflexes matter and why I would even be making this video as a pediatric developmental therapist. So the reflexes that we're talking about are the ones that newborns are born with. So these are the automatic involuntary movements that your baby has from birth. They're actually built-in survival tools that serve so many different essential functions. For example, reflexes like rooting and sucking help your baby to feed, while others like the Moro reflex protect them from potential danger by triggering a startle response. Some reflexes even help to regulate breathing and heart rate. And these reflexes aren't just random actions, they actually lay the foundation for your baby's future voluntary movements and also cognitive skills and development. They also serve as important markers of your baby's neurological health. If a reflex is missing, weak, or persists too long, it can be a sign that the nervous system needs some support. And as your baby's brain develops, these reflexes gradually integrate, making way for more controlled, intentional movements. Now remember, right now, we're just talking about those involuntary movements, which will eventually turn into voluntary. So these early reflexes are really the first steps in your baby's amazing developmental journey. Now, I will give you an extensive list, like I said before, of reflexes in a little bit. But for now, let me give you a few quick examples. So turning towards your touch, the startle reflex, and then grabbing your finger tightly. And we will actually put names to these here in a minute. Reflexes like rooting and the startle reflex support your baby's feeding, also their movement, and even early emotional regulation. And they set the stage for milestones like grasping, sitting, and walking. Okay, first up, we have probably the most popular one and probably something you're familiar with. We call this the rooting reflex. So when you gently touch your baby's cheek, they turn their head toward the touch and actually open their mouth. This reflex helps them to find the breast or the bottle to feed. And this is present at birth. It's most active during the first 6 weeks, especially when your baby is hungry. And it begins to fade around 3 months and is usually gone by 4 months. You typically will see it fade out as babies begin to gain more voluntary head control and feeding becomes more purposeful for them. And then we have the Moro reflex, which you also might be familiar with. This is when your baby is startled by a loud noise or a sudden movement. They'll fling their arms out and then bring them back in. This reflex helps with emotional regulation and reaction time. Now, this is also present at birth, but is most noticeable between that 1 and 2 month mark. It begins to fade around 3 months and is typically completely gone by 4 to 6 months. A couple things to note here. Sometimes when your baby is sleeping peacefully, you will see them have that startle reflex and they'll put their arms up. Or even if you have your baby and maybe you're holding them here and you kind of go down fast like this and back up, you'll notice their arms should go out to the side in that startle reflex positioning like that. Another pretty popular one is the Palmar grasp reflex. Now, if you touch your baby's palm, they will grasp it tightly. I'm sure we're all familiar with this. Now, at this point, they're not reaching out and grabbing onto toys, but this is definitely a precursor of that. This is why these reflexes are so important. This reflex eventually turns into purposeful grabbing and holding onto things by about 4 to 6 months. And you can help your baby by encouraging reaching and grasping during play. Now, this is present again at birth, strongest within the first 2 months. It begins to weaken around 3 to 4 months and should completely fade by about 5 to 6 months when purposeful grasping actually begins to take over. And then as promised, let's go ahead and talk about a couple other reflexes. So of course we have the sucking reflex. So this is when something touches the roof of your baby's mouth, like a nipple or a bottle, and they automatically start to suck. And of course this helps with feeding and also self-soothing. And then we have tonics, something called tonic neck reflex, or also the fencer's pose. And I wanted to go ahead and put a graphic up here. I felt like it was a little bit easier to explain. But this is when your baby's head turns to one side. The arm on that side extends while the opposite arm bends like a fencing position. Now, this eventually will help with hand-eye coordination and also muscle tone development. And then we have the stepping reflex. So this is when you hold your baby in an upright position with their feet touching the surface. This prepares leg muscles and brain for future walking skills. So again, all of this is interconnected, like I keep saying through this series. It's fantastic. This really, really excites me, and I hope I'm giving you a lot of value here. And then we have the Babinski reflex. So this is when you stroke the soles of your baby's foot and the toes fan out. Now, this is a normal sign of neurological functions in newborns. Okay, guys, and don't forget, I will always have linked in the description below or the show notes, depending on where you're listening or watching, to the early intervention program in your state. So if you do have concerns and you have a little one between the ages of birth and 36 months, you can refer to the early intervention program. You do not have to wait for a pediatrician's referral. You as a parent can do that. I will have that link below. It'll show the early intervention program in your state that you can contact, and all of them are called something different, so you'll have to look and see what it is in your state. And then as always, I will keep this playlist to the Milestone Monday playlist below. You can also go to my YouTube channel and click on playlists, and you'll get to see the wide variety of playlists I have for you. And please don't forget, if you haven't already, to snag something. Snag the Milestone Workshop, and there's a ton of value in my free baby and toddler toolkit. Also, by doing that, it gets you on my email list so you don't miss anything that's happening at Milestone Mom or the Milestone Mom Academy. All right, I will see you in the next video. Bye.